Every drop of gaming news has already been so incredibly chaotic for all of 2022. Like, consider the fact that Microsoft and Sony and even Nintendo seem to be trying to prime themselves for this generation of the console wars. Nintendo's trying to make faster exclusives to make sure you buy their things like Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon as quickly as possible. Sony is trying to scoop up more online things like Bungie, and now basically Microsoft is buying everyone, even if they don't have a price tag, with the things where they got Bethesda and now they have Activision Blizzard. This has started to create a lot of fear about a generation where you cannot play everything. This is a statement I've seen a lot across the internet, which is, what if I only want to own one system? What if I'm somebody that only plays on PlayStation, or I only enjoy Xbox? Will I miss out on some of the best experiences of the years? Well, today we got a very strange statement. In fact, this just came out a couple minutes ago. Microsoft is essentially promising that their biggest games are probably still going to be coming to PlayStation. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here. Now, what we're just sort of dissecting here is a very strange blog post that just appeared on Microsoft.com. Now, normally, when they put these out, they're sort of just an explanation of upcoming research, current endeavors. It's their way of sort of explaining their own technology. But this is strange because it talks about what they're trying to do with Activision Blizzard and honestly things like Call of Duty, Diablo, and things like Overwatch. It sounds like they want these to be third party, maybe forever. Now, here's interesting. Look at the title of this. Adapting Ahead of Regulation, a principled approach to app stores. Now, this sounds very strange. Why would you say the word regulation? Essentially, what's happening right now behind the scenes is that this deal is so big. Activision Blizzard being purchased by Microsoft to put it on the Xbox store, they spent $70 billion. $70 billion. This is an extreme amount of cash. Like, even if you don't count all the different fees and different processing, this is close to $100 billion being spent on a single company acquisition. And basically, the government has taken notice. There's been a lot of discussion about the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, within the American government. Basically, if you're trying to make a deal this big, they have to give it the green lights. Now, this is something they're essentially the highest levels of business arbiters, the people that are here to make sure that the free market stays at least partially free, are here to make sure that this won't, well, basically kill Sony or Nintendo. Like, that's the point of this, is that they do not want a monopoly. They're just trying to ensure that if Microsoft gets too big or too powerful or too strong, they could just wipe out the market and take over all of gaming. Now, personally, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that these deals, these checks the government are doing, they're just regulatory. I don't think that any of this stuff is actually going to get blocked. I think the deal is going to go through fine. But what's more interesting about that is in this article is some talk directly about the fears of exclusivity. So we're scrolling past all the stuff here that's sort of more about, what we're trying to do about holding accountability and having fairness and transparency. Now, right here, they really start to get into the nitty-gritty of what this deal actually means. We recognize that regulators may have other important questions as they review our acquisition of Activision Blizzard. We're committing to addressing every potential question, and we want to address publicly at the outset 2 questions here. First, some commentators have asked whether we will continue to make popular content like Activision's Call of Duty available on competing platforms like Sony's PlayStation. The obvious concern is that Microsoft could make this title available exclusively on the Xbox, undermining the opportunities of PlayStation users. Now, this is pretty interesting. Right here, just even these opening 2 paragraphs, it's fascinating to me how transparent Xbox is at least appearing to be. I've had my problems in the past with Microsoft, but I'll say that this generation of just talking so clearly and openly, even if it is business speak, I kind of appreciate the fact that they are trying to put the fears of the gamers to rest. But here we go. To be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty Duty, and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on the PlayStation through the term of any existing agreements, and we have committed to Sony that we will make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement into the future so Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games they love. We're also interested in taking similar steps to support Nintendo's successful platform. We believe this is right for the industry, for gamers, and for our business. Now let me try and just translate this as best as possible. It sounds like what they're saying is two separate things at once. It sounds like what they're trying to say is, don't worry, if you're still loving our series, if you still really want to give us money, we promise you'll be able to do it. And additionally, it does feel like they're sort of signaling the fact that they want to try and avoid regulation. If this can make it more profitable, more accessible, more out there, they're definitely going to do it. Now, on the other side of the coin, I do want to briefly talk about PlayStation, because it sounds like PlayStation as well is trying to make as much money off of Xbox as possible. With the recent acquisition by Sony to pick up Bungie, the main question on everybody's lips was essentially, are we going to see a console-exclusive Destiny? Is this meaning that we're only going to be seeing future expansions of Destiny or the new projects by Bungie only existing on PlayStation? But what's strange is that Sony also said they want to put Bungie products on every system. They want to keep making sure that stuff is third-party, that it's supported, that it's profitable all over the internet. This statement basically makes me think that a lot of these companies now, even if they do buy studios, they want to try and reach across the aisle for basically free money. Like, to them, this is just extra sales. It's extra ways to make sure that these studios stay funded. And I'm sure it can lead to more great sequels in the future if a project is big enough. Now, I want to finish things off here by taking a look at this final paragraph, but I'll warn you, I'm not going to read it. It's very, very, very thick business talk, which I do understand. And if you'd like, I can leave it down below. But essentially what they're saying is they're talking about the fact that a lot of this stuff, even if it sounds great now, there is going to be stuff that's still shifting into place. If you do not immediately see games going onto Game Pass, if you don't see every single patch of Call of Duty instantly rolling out on PlayStation, they're basically saying that this is because right now everybody is trying to make sure that everything stays according to the letter of the law. What's interesting is that I don't think there's ever been a time, at least not since the creation of the ESRB, and there was a lot of big court cases in the 90s about violence in video games and stuff like that. That kind of stuff, I just feel like we haven't seen this much professional scrutiny on the video game industry in easily 20 years. This is a completely new dawn. This is a new age. But I do want to address the concerns myself. The number one thing I keep seeing in the comment section from a bunch of subscribers is basically, I'm afraid I'm going to miss out. I'm an average gamer, I don't have a lot of money, I'm not even able to find a PlayStation 5. I'm concerned that in the future, certain games that I've been loving in the past will only exist on a certain console. I don't think this is quite going to happen. Some stuff like Elder Scrolls 6, I think that's only going to exist on Xbox. Obviously, Starfield is only going to exist on Xbox, but there's a lot of PlayStation stuff that I feel like is going to try and cross the gap. I think there's a lot of Nintendo stuff that is going to start to become more third party. Not their main stuff. Nintendo, Yoshi, Pokemon, that stuff's of course going to stay there forever, but I would not be shocked if we start to see more of a blending of all these different companies. And for the main reason that consoles just become more and more popular. Everybody wants to jump into next-gen gaming. And to be honest, console sales, that's a very small portion of this thing. If you can sell a bunch of games, if you can make billions and sometimes hundreds of billions of dollars of profit, because yes, video games do make that every single year, by selling a lot of video games. If you can sell your games all over the place, you're probably going to do it. If somebody soon attempts to purchase Electronic Arts or Ubisoft, I still think those games are going to be on every single platform. I think the gates of exclusivity are not going to be as solid as we may imagine. At least I really, really hope so. God, I hope I'm not wrong. Well, this has just been my thoughts about this weird, strange talk about exclusives and stuff. What do you think about it? Have you enjoyed this video? And thank you so much for liking it. I'm going to be giving away a copy of Sifu over on my Twitter account in the next 24 hours. So go follow my Twitter account. I'm giving away a copy of Sifu, and the game is fantastic. Go watch my Sifu review. I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for watching. Please have a great day and keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.